So, how are they getting these people? How are they keeping them? And how can we understand what's going on in their heads to be able to help them? Well, I was really surprised to find out that a huge amount of the trafficking that happens over the internet. In fact, these days, that is the way. Back in the day, a trafficker would have to go to the big cities, Chicago, New York, and look for the backpackers, the runaways. Because again, you're looking for vulnerable people. Just like when they talk about getting mugged, you're looking for vulnerable targets, so don't wear a ponytail or don't be texting all the time, pay attention, don't be vulnerable, right? It's the same way with trafficking victims. So they go and look for the runaways because they're alone, they're needy, they're looking for something, and they don't walk up and say, hey, I'm a pimp, do you want to be a prostitute for the rest of your life? They look them and they watch them and they find out what is it that they're looking for. And maybe it's the love of the father they never had. They came from a broken home. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a place to stay. And all of a sudden they turn into everything you need. And they start providing everything you need. And once they can separate, there's a Maslow's chart. There's a little triangle of needs that, you go a roof over your head and all that kind of stuff. But it goes all the way up to inner needs of the need to belong and the need to be loved. And a trafficker learns to take over all those things and make sure you're not getting it from anywhere else, so they are your only source. Again, it's so similar to abusive relationships and manipulative relationships, so that everything you need is getting fed from this person, and then it's payback time. And so it's either, hey, I really need you to do this favor for me, it's just one time, I owe this guy for my drugs or whatever, or hey, I've been paying for you to live here and I bought you all this nice jewelry, you owe me. Or it's just plain, I'm going to kill you if you don't. A lot of them, they will get them hooked on drugs so that now they need the drugs. And if they need the drugs, they don't even have to do all the manipulation stuff. They've got them right there. So a lot of your victims you're going to see are going to be drug addicted, or they're going to have other issues. They might be cutting, they might be anorexic, they might be self-destructive. Because, this is a horrible situation and they're just trying to survive. And you can't really blame them for wanting to go out of it for a while and not be there, not be present. So, nowadays, instead of going to the big cities, all they have to do is get on Facebook for 8 hours a day. Or Snapchat or Instagram or 100 other apps I don't even know about, and they find the vulnerable one. And you know who they are. You can get on Facebook and scroll down and you see the ones that are posting selfies all the time, the ones who are asking for attention, the ones who are basically saying, I desperately need someone to affirm my worth. And if we can spot them, a trafficker could easily spot them. And so they can send out a bulk message. I've gotten messages like that, if you've ever gone to that little inbox that's like people you don't know. And there have been guys on there, you're so fascinating, you're everything I've ever wanted, can we have a relationship, distance isn't a problem when fate is at work, and blah, 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 blah. Half the time they can't spell and their grammar's terrible, but for me, it's like, ew, gross, turn it off. But if you're a 14-year-old girl at home, your parents have split up, your dad never pays any attention to you, your mom's off dating again, you have nothing to do, you desperately want somebody to give you value and worth. Even if you got the red flag, wouldn't you be a little tempted to write back, Or even just for something to do. And so he may send it out to 3,000 people, well maybe he gets 30 responses. That's only 1%, but that's 30 new victims. And then they start the process called grooming. And grooming is where you start taking over all those needs. And so it's, your parents don't understand you, I understand you. Nobody loves you the way I love you. I'm going to take care of you. Let's meet. That's exciting. And we got to keep a secret, and that's exciting. Don't tell anybody, that's exciting. There have actually been people concerned about their kids. I saw a video of a dad who actually posed as one of these guys, got on the internet, met his daughter, hooked up this whole thing, and she showed up at a park, and there was her dad, and boy, did he let into her. And I was like, aren't you blessed that it was your dad, not the trafficker, because these victims, and it's not just girls, there are boys too, but about 90% of the sex trafficking is, girls. It's just this vulnerability, and our kids are reeking with vulnerability, and they're on the internet all the time, and they're getting exposed to things, some of them not on purpose. A lot of them are getting sexting messages from people they don't even know. There's codes. If you want to look up codes, if your kids or anybody's telling you about it, there's this website called noslang.com, because there are codes that mean like, let's get naked on camera, or, willing to sell for sex, just little, we don't even know what they mean, they're just letters, so you can look those up and find out what they mean. My kids know. If you get a message from anybody you don't know, you come to me. well, my kids don't even have a phone at this point, but when they do, they're going to know that, because it's just, even just responding, who are you, just don't even go there, because you've started it. So they're getting these kids on the internet. Again, you know, this whole abduction thing with the internet, when it comes to the internet, only about 10% are abductions. So maybe it's, you know, we'll meet somewhere, I grab you and blah, blah, blah. About 30% is things that they need, the job, the modeling career, you know, we're going to be a famous singer, or I can give you a place to live if you run away. Runaways are huge targets. But the huge one, 51%, what they're offering is love. They're pretending to be in love with these girls because that's what they want. And once they get them, it's so hard to get them out, because even if they do get rescued, sometimes they want to go back. So they're saying, yes, he loves me, yes, he rapes me, yes, he beats me, yes, he sells me, but he's the only one who really loves me. And that takes years and so much work to get them out of it. So you're going to encounter victims who don't even think of themselves as victims. They think, I'm in this really bad relationship and I don't like it, but I'm stuck here. Or they're going to think, you know, I messed up, and so this is all I deserve. Or they're going to have been told so many times, this is all you're worth, that they think this is my life. Sometimes if you've got, say, immigrant populations, they don't even know they're a trafficked victim because they don't even know what trafficking is. And they don't know that what's happening to them is against the law. And so for them, one of the things they need to know is, this is wrong, this is not okay. There are people who want to help you, like with indentured servant kind of thing. There have been people who come over, particularly like in California, they come over to be a nanny or to be a maid. Next thing you know, they're locked in the basement. They're never allowed to go outside. They work, you know, 22 hours a day or whatever, and they might get the scraps off the table, blah, 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 but they do not know what is happening to them is illegal. And it's like they paid all this money to illegally get across the border. They don't have anything left. There's no place to go. They're not going to call the police because the police in their country are corrupt. I've lived in a country like that. It's like when the police came around, you ran. You didn't want to be around. They're not going to call 911 because, again, they came over illegally. So, you know, that's a big threat. The trafficker has their passport, so they can't escape. And they probably don't know English. So, again, it's the perfect storm. They've got them. You know, you can do that here in North Carolina, bring them in from another country, take them up in the sweet potato plantations, you never hear from them again. So again, knowing certain important questions is a great way to start, because just saying, hey, are you a victim, do you need help, doesn't really work. Because for one, a lot of them don't know they're victims. For another, if they know they're victims, they know they're going to get in trouble if they say so, and so there's just a lot of reasons not to respond to that question, so we need different questions. So that's what we'll get to next.